In this video, we are going to see how to create this effect using HTML and CSS. As you can see, when I hover, the line from the top comes at the bottom, and the stroke gets converted to uh, into the solid color. Fine. Now let's get started. To start along, we need two files. The first one is, we'll name it as index.html. In case if you got stuck somewhere, there is source for the description so that you can copy and follow along. Fine. Now let's create a file and we'll name it as index2.html, and the style sheet we'll name it as style2.css. Control N, Control S, style2.css, the static HTML. Now just copy paste the CDN of font awesome on the head tag. Then we can link our style sheet, which is style2.css, and then the HTML is very straightforward. We have UL, and inside the UL we have LI, and inside the LI we have font awesome icon, and that's it. Just copy this and paste it inside the body. The point you need to note is simply the inline style which I have given. I have given the color so that I don't have to copy paste it again and again. That's the reason I have stored the color into the variable. So this is the CSS variable. This is how we write CSS variable. I'll access this variable on the CSS file. I'll show you how it's done in a minute. Now let's start the CSS. So for all element, let the padding be 0 and margin be 0 and box sizing be border box. Now for the UL, so before that we need to get into the body. So whatever is there inside the body, I want it to be at the center. So let me copy this and paste it and call the file index2.html. So this is how it looks. So to have it at the center, so display flex, align items center, and then justify content center. Now it would be at the center. So to horizontally align, we need to give height to it, 100% of the viewport height. Cool. Now call the unordered list and give display flex and gap. I want the gap between these two as 40 pixel. Now to remove the bullet, so list style none, so bullet will be removed. Now calling the list item which is inside the unordered list UL. Now we need to give the background as white. The color is already white, so let's make this background for the body as black so that we can see the LI. So we need to give width of 125 pixel and height of 125 pixel. Refresh it, and we want the font awesome to be at the center. So again, display flex, align items center, justify content center, and I want the font size. So we'll call to use the font size. We'll use list item font awesome icon, font size 6 rem. Let me zoom in. Cool. Now we want the border top. So for that, call the list item and call the before pseudo element. To use before, we need to use the content or else it won't work. Position absolute, top 0, left 0, width 100% of the width, height we want the height to be 0, and we'll use border bottom 6 pixel left and right, solid red. Now if you see, this is, we want to give position relative to this, So whenever we use position absolute, the parent should have position relative, or else this is what would happen. Now when I hover on the list item, the pseudo element should get height of 100%. Refresh it, hover it. There was a quick moment, so we'll use transition 0.5 second, is in and out. So if you hover, you can see. Now for the font awesome, we want the text stroke to be 2 pixel red, and I want the color to be transparent. Now what we can do is we can use, if you want you can give shadow to it. I am not giving shadow, box shadow. So call the list item and give box shadow, top bottom left and right, blurriness and RGBA, the black value 0.1. Now instead of directly black, we can use hash 333. Cool, we got some shadow. Now to access the color variable, call the list item nChild 1. So the color, get this color, paste it and use the variable, and we need to call, we can call this. The same way for the second one, we can simply call this for both. The same way for this red as well, we can use the variable. Cool. Now it's the fill, so call the list item nChild 1 and use the pseudo element before, and for the font awesome, so there would be the HTML code. So if you see, if you search for Twitter, and if you search for Insta, it's Facebook. So you can see the X code is there. So you can call the first one and give content. Need to use the forward slash. Actually it's backward slash. Now we should see, here it is. Now the font family, we need to use the font family. It's font awesome. Refresh it. Now we got this. Now what we need to do is we have to have this at the center, so line height. So there was some problem, so we can use the line height, which is the height of the list item, so it would be at the center. Now text align center. So to horizontally align this, we can use the font size 6 rem. You got this. Now you can have the same color, call this and give the color. Now what we can do is we can do this for the second one as well. You just have to change the HTML Unicode. So this is called Unicode. So actually this is index2.html. You got this. Now we just have to make this overflow hidden, and that's it. The scope of this video is done. Thank you so much for listening.